This is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I have a process video using this sketch. It is from the Bash Your Stash Facebook group, and I will post a link below. Every month they do a list of prompts for you, and two of those prompts are a sketch, a 1-page and a 2-page sketch, and you can use those to bash your stash. That's the whole point. And so I am using this PhotoPlay Real Genius and this basil paper that is super old. I picked it up on clearance years and years ago, and it has a texture to it. It's like a little square print, which I thought was perfect with that brown color for the photos in this layout. So these photos are of my little one school pictures from last year in the spring, like the standard, pictures that we always get developed or always get taken at the beginning and then again at the end of the year. And so I am using peeled paint distress ink to distress all the edges, and there's a little bit of green in the pencils and some of the pencil shavings of that paper on the bottom there, and so I wanted to pull in that green a lot. So that pencil shaving paper is 4x12 across the side, and then the red paper is also 4x12, and then the stripe paper is a 1/2 inch by 12 inches. And so this one is a really simple layout I put together. The sketch was really simple. It did call for 4 photos on the right-hand side, but I had 2 4x6s, so I just used that. And this is one of those layouts that I don't feel like it has a lot. It's not a big story to tell, but I definitely want to get these photos in the album because, we have those obligations to kind of scrapbook those spring photos. They're not the best photos of him. I feel like sometimes they do a really good job with these photos. And then other times I'm like, they definitely rushed through it, or it was the end of the day or something. And that's what I feel like with these. But he's still a little handsome boy. And so I definitely wanted to get those scrapped. So I did gut this paper because I wanted to mount my photos on it. And right here is where you can see that I'm mounting it. But the way that they come up on the layout, it's going to go across the top part. And so it just blended in too much. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll add some white cardstock behind the brown, but then realized that the paper's all cream. So I pulled out a piece of cream paper. And then, so I just forgoed the brown paper and I stuck that paper in with my paper kit. And just because I'm sure I'll, use it in another layout because it matches perfectly with the colors. I did get a question recently about how I store my paper kits. I purchase from a Uline. It's a company in Miami, bags that are 13 by 15. I'll post a link below. I buy them in bulk by 1,000. Just because I store everything in them and it's just easier. I know that you can also purchase them at the Dollar Tree, and they're like the 2-gallon size bags, and I think you can get them at Walmart and Target and things like that as well. I just feel like you get a better bang for your buck with the ones from Uline. But if you don't want to purchase that many bags, what's crazy is when I first started purchasing them, I would go in on a group buy and we had a couple people buy them. The last time I purchased, I was just done with it. So I went ahead and purchased 1,000 bags by myself. And last week I actually pulled out like the last probably 10 bags that I had. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've gone through 1,000 plastic bags. I do, when I donate my stuff, I keep them in the bags. I don't keep the bags just because it's just such a cheap item, and I feel like it's not worth trying to save everything and take it out and put it back in. All right, so back to the layout. I got everything down. I did use fun foam on all 3 of the photos, and now I'm looking for something to go on the left-hand side. Now on the sketch there, you can see in the top right-hand corner, there's a small heart over there, and so everything that I was pulling out was just too square, and I just didn't like it. And so and probably because I was pulling out my Project Life cards, I probably could have looked somewhere else, but I didn't like the stickers that were coming with it. And so I finally found this card, this 3x4 card that says, "The future is very bright." And this is a Project Life kit called Childhood Memories. And so it has lots of, obviously, childhood things in it. So I thought that was perfect in it. And the colors worked perfectly with this layout. I love the way that turned out. And so then once I get that down, I wanted to use this little boy. He's so stinking cute. Like, it's like a kind of a stick figure, but has some little shape to him, and he's just so cute. So I added him right next to The Future is Bright. And now I'm just looking through the sticker. I wanted to add another pencil since I had all that pencil paper down at the bottom, but I just couldn't make that work. And so I also wanted to try to use this book bag, but it just blended in too much with the colors of that paper that was on the bottom. So what I'm going to start doing is building a cluster on the far right hand side. So I pulled out a sheet of the brown paper and a sheet of that red paper, and I cut those. I'm going to cut those in a banner, and then I'm going to use this locker paper, which I am loving. I think I added it in another layout that I showed you guys. It's just a cool piece of paper to cut up and fussy cut, which is not really fussy cutting because you're just cutting straight lines. But so I used the red paper and the brown paper. I cut banners with those, and I added those to the edge of the paper, and that's going to be the base of this cluster. And once I get both of those down, I do go ahead and add the locker on top of it. So I put the red one down first and then overlap the brown one. I cannot cut a straight line for my life, so I do tend to pull out my paper trimmer whenever I can to cut off the edges. So then this is where I had those two lockers. I thought I would add both of them. It was way too big for the cluster down there. So then I thought I would just add the orange one, and then I realized that the orange one was too big. So I liked that teal one, and it kind of fell off the side of the paper, which added some interest to it as well. So then I'm going to pull out the sticker sheet again and pull out some stars from the sticker sheet. Then I'm going to use the other piece. This is like a half piece of locker, the top part of it, to start my cluster over here on the left-hand side of the layout. So I add the locker and then a little geotag that has an apple at the top. I find this sticker that has a book bag, which I really wanted to use that bigger book bag, but this one worked so much better because it had that green background. So I added that on a pop dot and underneath the locker on the right hand side. And now I'm just looking through the stickers trying to find something. I didn't find anything that I liked, but I did find these wood grain thickers. I picked these up at Tuesday Morning, and this says Dream Big, and that's the title that I'm going to use. And so I do end up pulling up this little boy just because it makes it easier to get the title down. And then once I get the title down, I can fit him back in there snuggled between the word dream and big, and I really like the way that turns out. So I do take a second to look through the rest of the stickers, and I don't find anything that works. So I pull out the stickers that come with this layout or with this paper pad, and I used this little red piece. This was the end piece of the banner that I cut off from the bottom. So if you're using that banner punch, go ahead and save those because you might be able to use them later on in your layout. And so I just use that as a grounding piece for my the information that's up there. So I'm going to put kindergarten, and then I put the word spring in the little block titles. So my title is actually The Future is Very Bright, even though I have Dream Big and Kindergarten Spring. So it seems like I have lots of titles on here, but I really think that The Future is Very Bright is a great title for this one. And then the other ones are more, not necessarily journaling because I'm not writing about what the photos are about, but just more details in regards to these particular photos. So once I get this word spring down, I then start to add a few more embellishment pieces. And again, trying to make that pencil work, it just isn't going to work. So I decided that maybe I should pull out these pencil shavings since it has the pieces at the bottom. And so I add 2 pieces of the pencil shavings to the right-hand side of the layout. And I try to make one work on the left over there where the title cluster is, but it just, it was too busy and I felt like there was enough already over there. So I thought maybe I could make another piece of locker work, but that didn't work either. And then that's when I pull out my enamel dots. And this is coming to the end of the video. So I add these like goldenrod enamel dots in, enamel dots as well as a star and a heart. And that completes this layout. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching. I would love for you to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you wouldn't mind leaving me a comment below if you have any questions or any suggestions for future videos, make sure you leave those below in the comments. If you haven't done so already, if you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks for watching and have a scrappy day.